what is your name and what is your role in the council?
My name is Ryan Stump, and I am president and head instructor of Queen City Sword Guild.
Okay. How long have you been doing HEMA?
Since 2016.
And you've been with the guild since then too? What is your favorite thing about the guild?
Gotta be the community. We've built a nice group of people here, and nice people to fight.
Definitely. What's your favorite weapon and maneuver with that weapon?
Saber, and there's a lot of feints with the saber, real more than anything else there. My favorite is a good strategy.
How did you discover HEMA, or what got you interested originally?
What got me started with HEMA, I was looking online for kind of different martial arts that I was taking at the time, and I discovered a forum that was talking about historical European martial arts, and I started, looking at some sources and playing with some guys at the backyard in college with some cold steel trainers, which weren't the best, and after that I found an event here at Salle du Lion, and after that the rest is history.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you like doing outside of the guild?
I like fishing, hiking, I like doing stuff outside a bit, a little bit of a cook I like to put down there. So.
Nice. All right.
So we're going to ask some more questions. So starting with, if somebody's just coming to the guild for the first time, what would that look like? What would they be doing?
They'll be walking through that door over there, and they'll probably greet one of us at the front of the building. We'll say hi to them, have them sign up the forms, and from there go to the apprentice class.
Yeah, first class is free if you show up. We want you to have an opportunity to check it out. And then, yeah, you'll come on out and we will have someone teaching the apprentice class for you.
All right, and you said apprentice class. What does that mean?
Apprentice class is where we like to put people who have not got any experience yet. So it's where we do day one kind of stuff, where we start teaching you the fundamentals of sword fighting. So things like distance, timing, how to throw a cut, how to sit in a guard, how to stand, how to move.
And day one, and that may not be, you have experienced other martial arts besides HEMA, or even fencing experience prior to this. We like to put you in that at least for a little bit to gauge kind of where you're at with HEMA and sword fighting. That we can put you in the correct spot there.
Now, there are a whole bunch of swords on the table. What would a beginner be starting with?
Starting with, not this one, but a proxy of this one, the longsword. Are probably the bread and butter of HEMA, as I like to call it. The longsword, you'll see every event will have at least one event with it. It builds good fundamentals to build off of.
Another good reason it is to start with longsword is that just about everybody can teach you longsword. Anybody with at least a little bit of experience.
Anybody in this club can teach you longsword.
Yeah, there we go, yeah. Anybody with experience in this club can teach you longsword and help with that. Whereas something like if you were to pick up a messer or a saber or a rapier, while they're cool, and we do have people who know how to use them, they're a little bit harder to find as far as people who can actually give you good information about it.
And is there any framework? What would you be learning as a beginner?
There actually is a framework. We do have a guide typed up by Caitlin.
Yeah.
Which you guys have met there. And you'll learn the fundamentals, how to cut, footwork, things that we generally also will teach in our primary free blade class, we'll talk about later. And just kind of warm us would show for them. You'll get to learn a little bit more repetitively. That way you can get that muscle memory built over time.
And when can you learn different weapons?
Once you move to free blades. So after we feel confident in you for a couple classes there, you'll be given a right to challenge, which will now be done at the end of the month. You'll challenge one of our companion level fencers, and we will then move you towards the free blade, which you will then be allowed to have a little more freedom of your education there.
Got it. And right to challenge meaning?
Right to challenge is an event we have for you. So we'll give you the right so you can challenge one of our companions of your choice to about 5 passes. And what we're looking for there is not so much if you win, but more if if you're competent at the sword there, at least competent for your level, and you're not doing anything that's overtly dangerous to yourself or others.
Yeah, biggest thing about it is making sure you're safe and making sure your opponents are safe when they spar you.
Got it. All right. So now you're at the point where you're learning different weapons. You also mentioned that a apprentice could challenge a companion. What's a companion?
So companion is actually our highest rank. They are people who the guild has instilled some faith into to teach our students. When you come here, you're not just going to get some person off the street teaching whatever they think a sword could be used for. We do have to have some sort of gold, some sort of standard there of knowledge before you move into teaching students on your own. And that's what a companion has encompassed.
And you can teach the free blade too. That being said, though, you will have a companion riding shotgun with you, making sure that you're organizing the class well, keeping on topic, keeping the everything historical and not necessarily talking about, you saw this on Ninja Turtles one time.
It's not just historical, but also for the sport aspect as well.
Oh,
We want
for sure.
that experience be passed on. They're not just hypothesis and YouTube vids, but actually teaching is part of the path to companion. You have to teach with a companion guiding you before you can become a companion yourself.
And how long does it usually take to go from apprentice to free blade to companion?
Apprentice to free blade within
month or two?
a month or two, yeah, we should be seeing some there. If you're brand spanking new, I would reckon that you're probably about
2 months.
2 months, and that's maybe like one class a week generally.
Yeah, if you come to 2 classes a week, if you come to Tuesdays and Sundays, yeah, you can probably be done in a month. If you come in just Sundays or just Tuesdays, it's probably about 2 months.
You're coming about, if you've got some experience, a month will be fine.
Call it 16 hours essentially of training.
Some around there, yeah. But for free blade to companion, that's a little bit more nebulous. There's a mandatory 1 year period of learning. So no matter what weapon you're learning in, messer, small sword, or long sword, etc., you have to spend at least 1 year with that weapon before you give you companionship in that weapon. But that being said, 1 year isn't where you're just going to get it. It's just a minimum requirement. It could take you years to get there. We're talking about dedication of learning. We're talking about going out and learning the weapon from other people, not just us. We're talking about judging events. We're talking about doing your own research there as well. You may not feel comfortable there, or by the time you get to your dissertation, we may not feel comfortable with your knowledge there. And we'll say, you know what, you're doing great as a free blade, keep working at it, and then maybe next time, in another year or so, we'll come back to you and see if you're ready to get that next step up there. And companionship is not a mastery. It is, we just put up trust in you to teach what you learned, or know what you've learned in the past year, however long there is. But it is something we do hold to some sort of standard there of experience, expectations of knowledge.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to talk about the ranks?
Kind of why we made them. That was a question you had earlier. Kind of why we made them is we only have limited time in the space, right? So what we decided on was we need to kind of have a better, more concise, and more clear breakdown of what are people's expectations from people at a certain period of their training. So, for example, we would get a bunch of new people. So if we have like 3 or 4 veterans or 5 veterans or whatever. So if I'm teaching the beginners, the apprentices, what they're wanting to learn and what they need to learn, it's not necessarily going to keep the more experienced students engaged, especially if they're not necessarily the type of people who are into teaching or things like that. So that's kind of why we decided we needed to at least have the free blade and the apprentice kind of categories, just to make sure that people are getting an opportunity to learn the basics and not just learning advanced techniques, and that the free blades have the opportunity to do something other than just the basics a lot more of the time.
And it also came kind of organically in some ways. We'd have people roll in back when I was instructing, running longsword at the time, and we would send them off to Ben or one of the other instructors there to kind of get some basic rundowns before we put them back in the general populace, which helped out a bit. But with this, we have a little more time to assess, a little more buffer zone before we get tossed in. Somebody's been doing this for a couple of years. And as for Freeblade, it's really come down to a growth period there as well. Once we got back on our feet after the pandemic, we had a lot of people want to branch out in different weapons, not just longsword. They decided that wouldn't be their main weapon they wanted to focus on. So from there we started breaking down the smaller groups there, and from there we decided, well, these people are getting more qualified with it, we should get them a little bit more tasks, more of a goal to work on within it. So we set up the Freeblade program to companion with that. But it really came down to we just want people to learn more weapons, have more chance to experience that, to pick it up.
And better organizing that.
Better organizing.
Better organizing that.
Which is a big, nice compartmentalizing there. So you're able to get the space in our studio that we have.
Okay, so when you're in the guild, we've talked about classes, things that you can do within the framework of classes and learning. What else does the guild do outside of classes?
Well, we party.
We do party. We do have other classes there outside where you can train and get conditioned. We're at Ben's place. We have done events out in parks. We've sparred out there. But we have an active Discord community.
A very active Discord community.
Which people ask questions about the history and other techniques for sport and how things would work out. And that's our big kind of contribution there, is get people asking questions to build on this. Because it's really designed to be, not to DIY, but you really get what you put into it.
And then we do, like I said, we party. We do host like holiday parties for everyone. So it's not just we're out here fighting, but we're all friends too. A lot of us video game together. We on the Discord we'll play things like I don't know, Hearts of Iron or Dark Tide or I don't know, all kinds of things. We had a Minecraft server at one point.
I think it was one.
7 days. We play video games. And then also, just outside of class, we also have a pretty good, record of showing up to tournaments. We've been in tournaments as far away as Philadelphia and driven students out there so they could go and fight. So, we're out there doing other stuff. We're going to classes, hosting events. We host what was last year the largest fencing camp in America for HEMA. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was our oldest event there, Harvest Fest.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So what would someone do at Harvest Fest?
Harvest Fest is where we set up a bunch of different classes. We ask instructors from all over the country to come in and teach one of their specialties. So this year we had teachers from Canada, we had teachers from Philadelphia, we had a teacher from New York City. So that's not necessarily all over the country, but that's pretty far flung. So we had people from all over there just teaching things that they really enjoy. There's good food, there's good hangout time. We do all kinds of other fun events that you don't normally see necessarily at all kinds of other events. So like we have the War in the Woods, which is basically paintball HEMA, except there's no paintball. We just fight with our swords over about 40 acres trying to take territory from one another. It's a lot of fun. We build a pirate ship in the yard and then basically do pirate ship boarding actions, which is also a great time. And this year we had cavalry show up, so we had people from the Civil War reenactment show up and teach and demonstrate some cavalry tactics used during the American Civil War. And we had mock horses set up where people could sit on top of a barrel and be pulled along and then try those cavalry techniques from on top of the barrel, which was also quite cool.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Awesome. You talked about far-flung events. Are there any more local events?
There's local events all the time. I'd say probably at least one or two a month within the state of Ohio alone, counting Pittsburgh, counting Detroit.
And does the Queen City Swords Guild host its own tournament?
We'll host our own tournament in July.
Yep, July this year will be hopefully here at our club, or at our school here, South Liaison. Queen's Court, our only sole tournament so far.
Yeah.
But it's a solid runner there. This is what, our 4th year?
This will be our fourth Queen's
Fourth
Court
tournament there. It's a good time. It's expanded over the years.
Yeah, I think we had 72 fighters last year.
Not just like, fighters, but also categories. I think we're one of the few places that do
Heavy weapons.
heavy weapon recitals there for it. So you can do pole arms or montantes, larger swords, and actually be able to compete against other people with it. So, and of course, being local here, we may be able to expand that out even further this year. We're not sure.
Here's hoping.
Yep.
Awesome. Anything else that you'd like to talk about events?
We're planning on adding more events as time comes along. I know this year we're planning on trying to implement a non-cis dudes event where our friend Caitlin's putting that on.
Yep,
and Lindsay's going to help with that as well. That's going to be great. There was also talk of maybe even working together with the Cincinnati Barbarians, the local Boohurt team, to put on a event that showcases both of our sports. So
Yep, talk about that. We've also done other things as well. We've been like at the Celtic Fest. We've done we had outreach with Pride. We've done a bachelorette party before. We'll do other events. You just got to hit us up. We'll work something out. No venue too small, I guess.
yeah, honestly, we can do birthday parties too. Yeah, if anybody's ever interested in having people come out and learn a quick sword lesson, so we're happy to come out and teach.
We're pretty flexible there. I've signed waivers.
Yeah, just sign your waivers.
All right, that's all that I had. Did you have any other questions? Sure. All right, thank you so much.
Hey, no problem, guys.